Yes, let's catch up on all things wrestling. Let's start with Raw. And once again, we start with a lot of yeeting.
uh,
In terms of where the storyline is going, we finally have, as far as all the quote unquote Rumble winners choosing, right? They've all made their choices already. So, which is great, I think. There's no more like questions to be had about that. Now, I think the focus is on Elimination Chamber, and we know who those champions will face, I guess.
yeah, like I feel like it's kind of like one half of the equation, right? People
Yes,
kind of look at Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. It's like, okay, one set of winners settle one half of all the
correct.
main event scene. EC is like the second half, right?
Do you like that, or would you rather it bleed into each other, be a bit more ambiguous? This year, it seems a bit more cut and dry. It's like, okay, we have our two Rumble opponents. Now we're gonna find the EC opponents.
Okay, not gonna lie, right?
Mm.
I'm a fan of variety, but I'm also a traditionalist. That means
Yeah.
I want the winner
Structure.
of the winner of the Royal Rumble needs to have a road to WrestleMania that leads into the main event.
Mm.
Whether them calling their shot this early, factors into a very interesting road to Royal Rumble. Road to WrestleMania. I'm not too sure, right?
Yeah.
Because like now you know what. So what is Jay and Gunther gonna do for the next 3 months that's gonna be interesting other than him getting beat up all the time, right?
Well, like I said in the past couple of weeks, just watch the next, was it 10 weeks? It's going to be
Yeah.
Gunther brutalizing Jay, and that's the way they even started. They kicked things off by having Gunther come out and berating him on the mic and then beating him up.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I love it, right? Because if you want to talk about like who should Jay face, they at least gave a week where he a bit of like uncertainty. Okay, lah, maybe
Yes.
Cody, but we all know Jay and Gunther is such a perfect face versus heel
Yeah.
match. And even though yes, we have seen it already very very recently, in fact, just a few
Yeah.
weeks back, I think they can tell a new story now. Now it's really like crunch time. Jay
Yeah.
needs to prove that he can hang in the main event.
And to their credit, right? I was not a believer. Even up until Royal Rumble when Jay won. Remember, I was still like, oh, do we really want to see Jay versus Gunther
Yeah,
again?
yeah, yeah.
And then they made me a believer the next week when they started telling the story of how like he keeps losing to Gunther. He can't win the big one. And I was like, oh, this is where they're going with this. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I've said this, I'll say it again. It's Kofi Mania, it's the Yes movement all over again.
And of course, the journeyman wrestler of Jey Uso, it's real, right? Like you
Yes,
really
yes.
see, and I think he also believes or he knows his journey is real. Like
Yeah.
you can see him like week to week, right, growing in confidence, learning to love
Yeah.
himself, believing that he can be a solo star. And we have seen the growth like from the beginning. So I think that creates an even closer emotional connection.
Is there a story to be told about how Gunther purposely, forced Jay to pick him, preyed on his emotion because he knows deep down inside he already beat this fella, ma. So it makes sense for Gunther, even though he claims that, beating you will do nothing for my legacy. He said that last week, the previous week, right? So
Yeah.
is there something to that, you think?
I think so. But if I was booking this, right, we have seen a lot about Jay's journey.
Yeah.
I want to see Gunther's journey now, right?
Yeah.
This is the time, bro. They need to film him going back to Austria, training in the Swiss Alps, freaking
I-
carrying lock. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I want to see his old footage when he was Walter and he was like twice the
yeah, yeah,
man.
correct. Like, I want to know all that, right? Because we always assume that he's the dominant, like final boss champion. But I want to see that vulnerability. I want to see the motivation for him being the champion that he wants to be. Why
Yeah.
is being a champion so important to him? What like does it represent for him? Because we've
Yeah.
talked about it, but I want to see a bit of that vulnerability and
Right.
his motivations that will make him such a compelling person to be defeated.
It's it's very obvious too, like where these two characters lay. One is very emotional. Jay literally made his choice. I will pick it after the beatdown, right? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
made
yeah.
it as an emotional response. Whereas the other one is very calculative, very like proper German scientist, even though he's not German, Austrian. But you get the point, right? They're cold and calculating. So they are polar opposites in terms of characters, which makes for a very good story, I feel. So I love that they're doing this and I love how it's starting.
So my question to you is: do you think that there is still time to do a swerve? And when I say swerve, meaning do you think Triple H wants to like he trying to be a bit too hipster and
Uh-huh.
like like kind of fuck up a bit of the road to WrestleMania? What I mean by that is we've seen this before. 2006, Rey Mysterio, right?
Uh,
He wanted to call his shot for the world title, but because he kena emotionally goaded by by Randy Orton
Yeah.
to put his title shot on the line, lost it at EC or No Way Out at that point in time, and like then it became a triple threat, right? Do
Oh.
you think that Jey Uso, because of like the weeks of beat down, suddenly get too emotional? Like, you know what? Call my shot. Like, I'm gonna put my title shot on the line. I want him now. I want him to challenge for the title now.
Like what, on a Raw? Or like EC seems pretty
Cut and dry.
yeah, too close already. And on Raw seems like a huge, like, huh, really? Are you gonna do that? I mean, it might pop a rating on Netflix, but I don't see it. I think that it's, to me, it's a very straight road to WrestleMania, and I don't mind it. Like, it's a different story if the road to WrestleMania is kind of, oh, it's boring lah, it's like,
Yeah.
like here, I think there's still a lot of emotional storytelling to be done that they can milk, and I think that's fine.
And then, if that's the case, Jay Gunther more or less settled, right?
Yeah.
Should it main event the whole of WrestleMania, like night 2 ending, or is it like a night 1?
Bro, it's not. Okay, let's be real. We all love Jay. We love Gunther. It's not gonna be night 2. Night 2 is gonna be Cody, CM Punk, or Cody and Cena, wherever the chips may fall. I still think it's gonna be Cody, CM Punk. An argument can be made for Cody, CM Punk, John Cena in some sort of triple threat, but ideally, like, this is night 1 main event. Night 1. Night 1. Let's not get crazy here.
Okay, so do you see? Okay, we are booking way ahead of time.
Yeah.
Do you see a WrestleMania 20 final cutscene scenario where like Jay wins the title on night 1, Cody wins the title on night 2, and then they do a hug it out in the middle of the ring?
No, because I want CM Punk to win the title on night 2. What are you talking about, man? Let's go. Okay.
You're teasing the CM Punk fan, bro. I like
That's
it.
right. I know you're a big CM Punk fan. Let's carry on. Damage Control, Liv and Raquel, they had a match. They had a thing, right? So it looks like they are transitioning and focusing more on the tag titles. Do you get that vibe with Liv and Raquel? Like, Liv, even though she's in EC, it really feels like they are just, okay, she's there because she's a name, but they're probably going to go for the tag titles a little bit more. Even more so, I don't know if you saw SmackDown, it kind of ties in. Bianca and Naomi, they were backstage and they were presented the footage of who beat down Jade, but it was inconclusive. It was just like, oh, here's the scene of the crime, right? And then you just see Liv and Raquel walk away. That's all. So they didn't give away anything too much. Not yet, but Bianca and Naomi are, oh, see lah, you're blaming us. Now we are going to go Raw to confront Liv and Raquel. So you sort of have 3 tag teams with issues, right?
Wait, who's the third tag team then?
Damage Control lah.
Oh yeah, Damage Control.
They're in the mix also.
They are in the mix, but I feel like they are like the workman title because I think their time as like the main, selling point has kind of passed from last year.
Well, any feud requires multiple parties to make it fresh, right? It can't just be 2 teams going up against each other all the time. So you need a third or fourth team to sort of be in there. You got Chelsea and Piper, even though Chelsea is, the US champ.
US champion. The cool thing I like about Liv and Raquel is like Liv has had that main event run. I think she's a made woman right now. She is generally popular, and now she can be slid down into the spot of a tag team, which will in turn bring up Raquel, right? If they would do the titles together.
And hopefully bring up the tag team title scene as well. There is definitely a renewed push for tag team wrestling, if you've noticed, both from the men's side and the women's side. Like, there are actually stories that we can talk about now in terms of those. Remember, those titles used to be like, oh, okay, who has the titles? Okay, like that. Now, legit got story one.
I agree. And I think it's really, really cool. You need the depth, right? I think that's what will make people watch the entire 3 hours. Where if every single storyline is interesting, there's no toilet break, right?
Well, okay, talking about the tag titles, I know we're jumping ahead a bit, but War Raiders and American Made. It was a DQ win for American Made. I forget who won, but I know that this is not over between them.
Yeah. Do you see the vignette that the production team put out right before the match? Between American Made and the War Raiders.
Was it the backstage?
No, there was a
promo?
backstage confrontation, yes. But
I remember the backstage confrontation. You're talking about the promotion package, is it?
Yeah. They made a promotion package throughout the night to kind of hype up the match. So actually that made me hype for the match, even though I had no clue going on to Raw. So I think one thing I want to kind of compliment WWE with Netflix is they really are making a concerted effort to kind of reintroduce a lot of these stars and groups or wrestlers for the masses.
They are telling stories. Easy. See, here's the thing. People always say, oh, easy to understand stories means very shallow. That's not the case. I think the biggest challenge is to take an intricate story and make it easy for people to understand.
Yes.
You
yes,
know,
yes.
and that's what they're doing so well. Okay, the reason I remember the backstage confrontation with American Made, especially with oh my god, it's Brutus and
Ivy. Oh no. Brutus and
Julius, right? There's
Yeah.
one thing in wrestling and in entertainment in general, it's very hard to teach. You either have it or you don't. And I saw it in Julius.
Okay. What was it?
Timing.
Oh, okay.
Comedic timing. You go back and if you ever have I don't know why this really stood out to me, but I can't even remember what anybody else said. But the moment he does this thing where he goes, and then he folds out the American flag.
Oh,
it was
he spread eagle it, right?
yeah, the timing was so perfect. I was like, this guy gets it. He nailed the timing on that. It couldn't have been even any better.
Yeah, I remember that scene. It's like it was like to emphasize, like put a button on the segment,
Correct.
right?
It's like that exclamation point. Like they made that point. Pause, half a second. Boom. I was like, it's like you know what it is? It's like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, Captain America.
Yeah.
It's like the moment where he spreads his wings for the first time, like that big moment.
Yeah. Or it's like no, it's okay. This is a deep cut, but if you watch, you remember Avengers?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
of
like
course.
the Hulk was like walking beside was
Thor.
it Thor? Then he like
You're talking about the smashed subway scene.
Yeah,
then there was
yeah.
like after the big fight, then
they
he
kind of
paused for a
paused
second.
a bit. Yeah.
Then bam. That scene,
Right. Yeah. It got laughs. So yeah,
So
it was nice.
that's perfect timing, and it's so hard to teach that. And I think Julius has it. I love the Creed brothers. I see so much potential in them, and them versus War Raiders. Woo!
Can
I'm
I
there for it,
say
bro.
when I was playing 2K24, right? Every time I do general manager mode and I need a tag team to be my main tag team champion, I
Sure.
always get Creed brothers, bro.
Oh, let's go.
They are my workman title champions.
Okay. AJ Styles is back. He's on Raw, and it looks like he's going to be working a program with Dom and Carlito and whatever's left of the Judgment Day. So, yeah, proper mid-card feud, yeah?
I don't hate it. I think everyone is happy that AJ is back.
Yeah.
Everyone is definitely happy that AJ brought back his old theme song. I think this is gonna be beneficial for Dominic Mysterio, to be honest.
Yes.
You're working with a legend, bro, right?
Correct. If anything, he's there to put Dom over, and I'm here for it. Like he did have a little backstage, like face to face with Braun, so they might be teasing something there. Also,
Do you get this feeling like the main event title scene is so stacked that some of the previous main eventers is coming back down to the mid card scene and is padding up the mid card scene?
Yes. There's a difference, right? Like there was a time where you would have, I hate bringing up his name as an example, but Dolph Ziggler. He was he's former world champion, right? But there was a point where it's it's Dolph Ziggler, he's gonna lose lah. You know, like you know what I mean? There was that vibe. Now it seems like it's the other way. It's like these ex-champions going down to elevate the rest of the roster. I think they're doing that with NXT as well. So I think it's great what they're doing.
It's not just on Raw, right? Because on Raw they're teasing like, okay, you're gonna have potentially Braun Breaker having to contend with AJ Styles. Remember that one time Penta was teasing as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty stacked. And then over on SmackDown, like I'm mentioning ahead of time, but like we had people like The Miz padding out the title scene, Nakamura, LA Knight. So it's like everyone is kind of over, bro. The people who are not over are not on the shows.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Which is a great problem to have, I suppose. So, okay, just to wrap up Raw, Logan Paul moving on to the EC, no surprise. Yeah, we called it last week as well.
What do you think of that Logan Paul interaction with CM Punk?
I mean, I hope it doesn't lead to anything. If anything, because I want CM Punk to go on to face Cody Rhodes. Right, so I'm just hoping it's just just jaw jacking lah. So there is definitely potential. It's a money match at some point.
I think so too. I feel Logan Paul is so lucky because right now he is in a field where everyone is gonna be so much more talented than him and is gonna be able to elevate him, right?
Yeah.
Even maybe not on athletics style. Of course, with Rey Mysterio, he had that great match as well. But even with jaw jacking with CM Punk, that's just gonna elevate him to the next trash talk level, bro.
I can't wait for it actually, because Logan Paul's no slouch in terms of the trash talking, and we all know what CM Punk can do. So well, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's talk SmackDown then. Jacob Fatu, bro's getting cheered, bro. He's getting massive pops.
Oh man, Jacob Fatu has definitely been given the green light to surpass Solo. And why
Yes.
I say that, it's not because it's a clear edict from WWE
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
probably told Fatu and like Fatu, like, you cannot overshadow Solo for now.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can, because you're gonna
Na-
tell the story.
Correct, correct. So back then it was I love you Solo. Oh, I shared this on the Discord as well. There is this really cute interaction of Jacob Fatu backstage with the Boogeyman,
Yeah,
and
such a fan, right?
it makes so much sense now. You know that little wiggle that he does in the ring, Jacob. That's
Yeah.
what Boogeyman used to do.
So you
If
think
you,
it's
do
a
you remember?
homage to him?
Yeah, it is 100% an homage to him. 100%.
Ah,
Like the
wow.
way Fatu, once again, it's on our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, feel free to
Please
join
do.
us. I
Please do.
posted the TikTok link, right? It's literally of him like filming a video with him, and Jacob is like a little kid fanboying over his favorite wrestler. He's like
Yeah.
the tippy toes, you know, the tappy tap when you get excited?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's sending me over the edge. I am a Jacob Fatu. I was already a fan of his. Now I'm
Yeah.
even more a fan of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I saw that scene. I think it probably was a couple of years ago. It probably wasn't that big, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that coupled with that one fan footage of him being in the crowd, like being excited for the Usos at last year's Royal Rumble.
Yes, yes.
Bro is really, we are literally seeing him making his dreams a reality right before our eyes.
Yes.
And it's so great to see. And like, I think I know where the bloodline is going right now, right?
Yep.
We talk about it, we teased about it. Solo coming back, and suddenly, the Tama and Fatu having that reaction of like, oh, you left us high and
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
That is probably the next
Yes.
chapter in the story.
So they are not on the same page, right? Tamatonga and Fatu, and it gets worse by the end of the night. Obviously, they're setting up the main event. I wonder if this leads to a feud at EC, or are they going to stretch this to WrestleMania? You know, I guess we could talk about it now, right? Because
Yep.
main event.
I wanted to talk about like Cody's opening segment as well, because leading up to the main event,
Right, right.
I'm getting this sensing that Cody's heat is going down.
That,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
that's why him going up against CM Punk at WrestleMania is the right thing. CM Punk wins, Cody goes Homelander, he has a new 1 year run as Evil Cody, he refreshes himself. It's perfect.
yeah, I get it. Like, I feel like Cody's babyface run is kind of on his last legs, and
Yeah.
not in a bad way. Not saying that he's stale.
Yep.
I'm saying that he probably has had that arc, and they already teased that KO kind of brought out this like edge to him,
Yeah.
like he's willing to do all these dastardly things.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Slowly.
can't go.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can't go back to that really good earnest babyface anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what's the next step lah? And it's been teased like so often. And the whole him standing over KO holding the titles after he quote unquote decimated KO, right? Like I'm like, ooh, that seems a bit like it. It's something like Homelander would do. He would stand there in the wake of his opponent's destruction and demise, right? So I'm like, okay, I see what you all are doing, and I'm buying into it, man.
Yeah, and he did a couple of call outs, right? He said like, oh, should I fight John Cena? And then there was a crowd cheer. Should I fight CM Punk? There was a crowd cheer. And then he brought out, oh yeah, oh, Andrew McIntyre. And that brought out Drew, right? Yeah. Drew clearly is the odd man out in the main event scene, right? He is lovably bad, like as an evil character, but he's not a strong enough marquee name, right? We all know that. I'm curious to see. Okay, there's two ways I would say, right?
Yep.
Either your theory, which is CM Punk and Cody, CM Punk brings out this evil side. Maybe Cody retains and then he turns full Homelander. Or what if John Cena is the one that turns heel finally on his
Wow.
last year run, right?
You think really? I feel like he has too much goodwill to turn heel at this point. Like why? It would make like he has to resort to it because he can't do it anymore. Is that the story?
Because he can, yeah. And I think the first teasers of it was at the the Royal Rumble press conference,
con.
right? Where he said like, I'm in this title picture because it's best for business. It's best for business that I am the main event of WrestleMania. He doesn't talk like that. So what if maybe this is the thing that he said, okay, I will do a 1 year run full time for WWE, but let me do something different for my final run.
Heel.
So if Cody Rhodes versus heel John Cena, or like Cody Rhodes versus like a legacy John Cena who is like, I'm just here to dominate you,
Yeah.
that can cause a lot of interesting layers and storytelling.
So would it cause the same quote unquote negativity as when Rock almost took that spot? But you see, I feel like John Cena has too much goodwill. The Rock came in and he was like, I'm the main man, blah, blah, blah. And then the quote unquote negativity came organically, right? I don't know if they
Yeah.
would purposely try to do it again. You know what I
Well,
mean?
this time last week you were saying how maybe it's Punk and Cody and then Cena can go fight Logan Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
That is still on the table. That is still like what if Punk fails and then Logan Paul is the one that causes that marquee match.
Yeah.
But there's also an argument that maybe it could be a triple threat, right?
Yes, yes.
Cena
And
you
you could still tell the story of John Cena not winning because
Yeah.
he can lose at the triple threat. CM Punk, I want CM Punk to have his moment. Like I'm not even that big a huge. You are a bigger CM Punk fan than me, but I want him to have his moment, and I want him to A, have his moment, B, kick off Cody's descent into Homelander, and if John Cena is part of this equation, tell the sob story of John Cena almost winning but not winning the big one, which
Okay.
is what he wants to do. So there's 3 things you could do in that one match.
Which one would you want to see out of the 3K? I give you I break it down for you. Would you want to see Cody retain, become Homelander? Would you want to see CM Punk win and then Cody loses the title then descend into Homelander?
Yep.
Or would you want to see John Cena win, whether as like a babyface that kickstarts everyone else's turn or as a heel?
B,
Okay, so you want to see
because I
Punk
don't
wins.
I don't believe that Cena should win the title not so early in the year, maybe even never. You know what I mean? And just give us that struggle. Give us the story of the struggle, that sense of, we talked about this before, that sense of urgency by the time December rolls around and he still hasn't won that one last title yet.
Agreed.
I would like to, I want to see that urgency, you know?
I just really need us to get past EC because to be honest, right now it still feels like WWE is spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
They're not trying to
Well,
pull the trigger on the WrestleMania storyline
They're doing it slowly. It's fine. They have
as compared to last year, because last year they started off hot,
yeah.
man.
Well, here's the thing: like you can't, rush through everything all at once, right? Because this WWE product, it's like it's non-stop. So it's not
Agreed.
like a TV show where you only have 6 episodes to tell that story, so you kind of get there, right? Even then, there are some shows that drag on, but that's not the point. The thing with WWE is, okay, they have these hard markers like WrestleMania. We want to create this moment, tell this story. So there will be certain periods, 2 or 3 weeks, where they're like, okay, twiddling our thumbs. You have little side quests here and there that don't mean anything. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
The vibe of the product, the main stories are still fresh that you want to see it.
Yeah, product is still hot, right? I mean, judging by the triple threat match Fatu had with like Strowman and Priest, that was badass.
Okay, so very quickly, Priest wins. Solo kind of cost them, right? He tried to go for the spike on Cody, but Cody ducks and he hits Tama, and then you see Jacob like, what? So you have dissension. It's like, what are you doing? You're not with us anymore. What the hell is going on? So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Jacob and Solo can tell their story, and as I was alluding to earlier, that could be the Bloodline storyline, but Bloodline storyline has descended to not be the main storyline of WWE.
Which is fine. They've dominated, and Roman Reigns is not around. Where does Roman Reigns figure into it? Because you can't have WrestleMania without Roman Reigns, right?
The Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins storyline could feasibly still be a thing, right? Because you see, Seth Rollins has not had any follow up since that day.
Oh yeah.
Even though
Yes.
Seth has been on Raw, figuring out in the main event scene. I believe Roman Reigns could return at that one at EC
to cost
kind of
Seth
cost somebody the title.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. I think he could do the thing where the door, it always happens, where the door is open because they have to get somebody out, and then suddenly one fella run in and cost somebody the EC, right? So that is something that I think might happen.
I think we might be seeing a triple main event scenario or quadruple main event scene scenario at WrestleMania, where like you have a bunch of big time headlining matches, but any one of them can be interchangeable. There wasn't like a definitive like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. This is the belt and all.
And here's the thing, and it's 41, so it's not quite 40, but it's the first WrestleMania on Netflix. So they are pulling out all the stops. I think all the big matches you can see. That's why I truly believe in John Cena versus Logan Paul. I mean, that is a marquee match, is it not?
Yeah, definitely for casuals, right?
Yeah, like if anything, you're like, what? The movie star versus this social media guy, let's go. And then, at the same time, you watch all the other matches. Even you were talking about like during the Royal Rumble, a
Yeah.
lot of casuals, your friends were like, hey, haven't watched in a while. Now Rumble, WWE on Netflix, wow,
And WWE struck gold with a lot of viral moments. Like they got
Yes,
ISO speed to be a viral moment, So
yes.
they need that viral moment, and maybe that could be the direction that they're going.
So, okay, just to come back to Fatu and Tonga, are they ending their feud at EC or is this stretching to WrestleMania? That's the question. No, not Fatu and Tonga. Solo and Fatu.
Uh,
Solo and Jacob.
what I wanna see, is Jacob Fatu dispose of Solo, takes on the reign as the next tribal
Oh,
chief.
no.
It's
Okay.
gotta be about
No,
bringing
no,
gold
no.
to the family again. Bro.
It's not tribal. I think the tribal chief thing is overdone already lah at this point. And they don't even have full-on groups. Okay, hear me out. Tamatonga, even though he took the spike, it was an
Yeah.
accident.
Okay.
I would like to see Tamatonga and this
Jacob.
Tonga Loa, our good friend, come back
My guy.
and side with Solo. If Fatu is going to be the face, then he needs to be put at in jeopardy. And the only way you can like feasibly put him in jeopardy that we can believe is have a group beat him down. Unless you want Solo to bring in Zila and all the other Hikaleo, whatever, more
Okay,
Samoans. I
you-
think that's overdone.
You are pivoting, or you are kind of leaning towards Solo becoming the heel and Jacob turning into a babyface.
Yes. Well, isn't that where they're going with it? Like, Fatu is getting massive cheers. I think it would be silly if they don't lean into that.
I think it's too early though, because
Okay.
Jacob Fatu has not had that monster heel run. I mean, he had a monster heel run within the constraints of the bloodline.
Right.
He has not been set free. Right now, we are seeing him being set free. He needs that Umaga monster
Right.
heel run. I rather Jacob Fatu absolutely destroy Solo.
Yeah.
And Solo is like a crisis of confidence that he's going through now, right? And then he like kind of like accepts that maybe he's not as good as Solo, as Jacob Fatu. And then Jacob kind of like takes over.
But
Solo
okay.
can go on this redemption arc on his own.
When we talk about monster run, it can be within the alignment of being a fan favorite, right? You know? He doesn't have to be a heel to go on a monster run.
I think he needs to for what he does and offers to the ring though.
So-
if I'm a casual and on Netflix, I see this guy, wow, this guy is a fucking crazy criminal. I don't want to have anything to do
But
with him.
people are cheering him. When he gets on the mic and he drops bars, people are like cheering him and listening to what he's saying. I think it doesn't make sense for them not to lean into his popularity at this point. Like, he is winning people over organically. And you just can't fake that or hide that. It's like Tiffany Stratton, which we'll talk about in a bit. So to me, what happened with Tiffany on this SmackDown shows me that they're finally leaning into her being a face.
Because they have a bigger dick heel in Charlotte,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Like, previously, she was like getting cheered, but she's still acting like a heel, right?
Okay. Who is the bigger dick heel than Jacob Fatu? Like
Solo Sikoa lah.
as the annoying boo.
Yeah,
the
like fucking
boo.
like, you are not Roman, we don't like you, Jacob better than you. So he can play.
Well,
And Solo, okay, Solo needs a team.
Yeah.
He
Solo
can't
cannot
stand
do
by
it
himself,
alone.
right? So it's either going to be Tamatonga and Tongaloa, or he brings in more freaking Samoans.
Bro, if Hikuleo comes in as like their tall enforcer,
But
maybe.
to me, it's like, okay, enough Samoans lah, bro.
Bro,
Enough.
it's like they're coming out of a clown car. Like multiple Samoans are dropping out, Oh, dear
Exactly.
God. Dear God.
Okay, let's pivot and move on to what we talked about earlier. Jax versus Stratton. They had a match, right? I really didn't like this match in terms of not the match itself. The match itself was fine. I think they wrestled it pretty well. It's that Candice LeRae caused the DQ, and Nia Jax was okay with it. It was for the title.
Yeah.
That made zero sense. Like, you literally just cost your friend the title. What are you doing?
And also they didn't follow up much, because after that the
Wow.
post fallout was more on Stratton. Like basically they didn't say anything about Nia Jax and Candice LeRae right after.
But you know why they did this, right? As in, okay, so you're talking about Charlotte Flair coming out and declaring.
Yep.
And like you said, bigger dick heel. Wow, she was full on like
She's like, I give up
cocky.
on that 1 week
Yeah.
babyface experiment.
Yeah, forget it. Like, oh, I had to come back and fight back. No, no, no. You love to boo me. I'll give you reasons to boo me. Comes in, I
Yeah.
choose you. Walks off. And then Jax and Lorraine start beating down on Tiff, right?
Yeah,
And who
yeah,
makes
yeah.
the save?
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus. So we get that. And first of all, I thought she retired already, but never mind. We all know wrestling retirements, lah, huh? Trish and Tiffy, and this is what I was saying earlier, the sign to me that, okay, they are finally embracing Tiffy as a full flip face. They're literally putting her next to face
The
that
most
can,
beloved
yeah, in
babyface.
Toronto, a
Yeah.
hometown, so that they will get the massive cheers going up against Nia Jax and Candice. My issue with this whole thing was the fact that Candice caused the DQ. Nia Jax was okay with it. It made no sense, but I see why they did it because it was to set up the tag match. But
So it's gonna be
a
a
flimsy reason.
It's gonna be like a big blockbuster tag match, I guess, for the women at Toronto.
Yeah,
Set the play for EC.
it's Trish lah. She gets her hometown, match, and then Tiff gets the hometown cheers. Confirm they win.
I'm curious though, bro. Like
Yeah.
Trish is factoring a lot in the WrestleMania season. There's gotta be a reason for it.
No,
Do you see that Trish? Is it just a one-off at Toronto, or she might have a story that goes
No.
all the way to WrestleMania?
One off at Toronto. A, to get the home crowd pop. B, to get the Netflix viewers who remember her from the Attitude Era. And C, to get Tiffy to that next level of, oh, she's the face now.
Basically, she's giving her the cosign, like, okay,
Yeah.
Tiffy is that new girl, like
Yes,
I sign
yes.
off on her.
Correct. Yeah, that's so they've done those three things, accomplished 3 goals in this
like it.
scene. The only thing I didn't like I mentioned, the logic of booking it like that, where Candice very obviously got DQ'd.
Yeah, I agree. I get what you mean.
Stupid.
Yeah. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I love Nia Jax now, bro. like
She's great for what she does. She's a she's a dick heel.
yeah. You need that one time like gargantuan Godzilla monster.
Yeah.
To kind of like shake things up, in the division. Doesn't matter men or women, and she plays that role so perfectly, bro.
She's better than Omos or Braun Strowman in that role.
Yeah.
In their respective role, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. She's won me over.
Love it.
She definitely won me over.
Bro,
Can
the
I
new
just
song
say-
as well. I like the song as well.
How does it go?
There's only one
man.
man. History.
But can we just agree that Candice looks very like... Okay, no, I don't want to be
You know
that
what?
guy.
I would rather Indy Hartwell stay and Candice go lah.
I hate that, but yeah, that... anyway,
She's just not. She's just bland. That's unfortunate. Yeah.
how can you be bland when you have the pink, purple hair? And anyway, let's talk. It's a X Factor thing. Let's talk about Shinsuke. Like, I forgot that he was even still a US champ, to be fair. And then the commentators play it off like he's been lurking in the shadows. Y'all never use him, then say never use him. Like, I don't know what lurking in the shadows.
I mean, to be fair, they have been kind of like low-key putting him backstage, background of like a lot of like talking heads behind the scenes.
It's a lot of stuff that if you go to the toilet, you will miss.
Yeah. Somebody said something like that. I couldn't unsee it, bro. Doesn't he look like Caecilius from Doctor Strange?
Caecilius,
Caecilius.
Caecilius, because he has the eye makeup that looks like his eyes are rotting off.
Correct.
Right?
Then somebody was saying like they're trying to figure out a new gimmick for Shinsuke. They want Doctor Strange. That guy.
Caecilius, yeah. I think it's like Darth something, like dark side. Because his whole presentation, he looks like some sort of Sith Lord. I think that's where they're going with it.
It is a dope look though. I do like how he looks now.
I guess they're trying to keep him mysterious because he can't really cut a promo. And to be honest, when LA Knight came out, when Miz came out, I completely forgot about Shinsuke. They outshone him so completely.
While I thought, that was generally a great promo, do you think it went too long?
It did. And also...
They started rambling or like going away from the title.
Bro, they got 3 hours to kill, bro. let them have their thing. Like, I mean, LA Knight also like... Again with the US title, again with Shinsuke. I know Miz is in the mix now, so at least that's fresh, right? But still, it's like poor LA Knight can't get out of this bracket, it seems.
But I don't think LA Knight got anywhere else to go right now. Like he
True.
can't go up to the
True.
main event scene spec right now.
Yeah.
The only way he needs to do is go back to the US. But the good fallout from that is that it builds up the credibility, the
Of
prestige of the US title, right? So
I hope
yeah,
for his sake at some point he goes to Raw and he becomes an IC contender instead.
yeah.
At least something fresh for him.
Maybe LA Knight is going through the CM Punk run, right? Where he's like his time is maybe next year.
Right. But his time is next year was the case 1 year ago.
No, but
And
he got over organically, right?
yeah,
He has not had the machine behind him yet.
yeah.
So I don't mind, like he's now on this like recognized level, beloved by the fans, grinding still, trying to get the respect, and then maybe one time win a random Royal Rumble.
Mm.
At
Yeah.
least maybe at 43, 44, he gets that world title run. That
Next
one time
year.
run.
Again, every time we talk about him, oh yeah, next year. Next year is this year. Next year is this year. Forever is next year.
Yeah, was it somebody on our podcast, on our Discord that said like, oh, I wish LA Knight's in-ring work was good because his promos are killing it.
Yeah.
It's a Jey
Eh,
Uso thing as well, I guess.
it is. Oh, but Jey Uso got over massively organically as well. So
Do you think the WWE missed the boat on pulling the trigger on LA Knight when he got hot initially?
yes, yeah, a year ago lah. Remember, and he had the interaction with the Bloodline, so we thought like, oh, finally they're gonna push him into that mix, right? But no, then they pulled him back. We'll see, I guess. One more story to talk about: KO versus Sami Zayn Elimination Chamber. They are doing the shoot video at home style of promos.
With Sammy as well.
I liked it. Like, Sammy's talking about, yeah, we fought so many times, but now it's like different. You try to end career, blah, blah, blah.
So it's confirmed to have a match at EC only.
Correct, EC in Canada, where it started for them. So there's the history there also.
So maybe it's really more for the Canadian crowd. Do you
Yeah.
think that this last pass towards WrestleMania as well?
I don't know. So that's a good question, right? Because then if it doesn't last till WrestleMania, then what do they do at WrestleMania? It's not like they have no match. Unless you do KO versus Sami Zayn at EC, no stips, just a regular match. And then WrestleMania, you have like hardcore, whatever bullshit match, like some
they
sort
can
of
have
gimmick.
Crazy steel cage match,
Yeah.
that steals the show.
Yeah, KO jumps off a sign or something like that.
Or like KO versus Sami Zayn, Hell in a Cell. You know what I mean?
Oh shit, Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Let's
I
go
think
for
so.
it.
And because their story is so heated
Like
and it's
years in the
escalating,
making. Yeah.
it makes sense for them to have that diabolical like end each other's
Okay,
careers match.
I like your booking for this. Like regular match, EC, have that feud, make it
Yep.
so personal that like one of them was like, nope, I'm gonna get you at the end. Let's
Yep.
go WrestleMania.
Yep, there you go. So that's SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown, I mean, like we alluded to earlier, it's a bit of, all right, let's bide some time before Elimination Chamber. That's when we'll finally know, okay, the proper road to WrestleMania, the other champs, who they'll face.
The shift towards the road to WrestleMania is like now we're at first gear. It's starting already, but I think it was gonna go up a way more interesting right after EC, which is like it's next week. So yeah,
The next couple of weeks is gonna be really exciting wrestling television. I can't wait.